They laughed behind her back every morning she walked into the mansion. Maria's shoes were old, the soles cracked, and every step made a soft squeak on the polished floor. To the wealthy families she worked for, especially their daughter Clara, those shoes were a joke. "Look, the maid's shoes are crying again," Clara would giggle, pointing. While her friends laughed loudly, Maria kept her head bowed low, gripping her cleaning cloth tighter, pretending she didn't hear. Those shoes had walked her through storms, long hospital nights, and streets where nobody helped her. They were more than shoes. They were her promise to survive. For 10 long years, Maria worked in that mansion. She cooked, cleaned, ironed, cared for Mrs. Hamilton, the elderly owner of the house. Mrs. Hamilton was kind. She often told Maria, "Your hands are the reason this home still feels alive." But Clara and her fiancé Ethan treated Maria like she didn't belong, like she was just another object in the house. One day, Clara snapped when Maria served breakfast a minute late. She kicked Maria's foot and sneered, "Why don't you buy yourself new shoes? Or maybe you like embarrassing us." Maria bowed her head and apologized. Mrs. Hamilton noticed the disrespect in Clara's tone. Her brows tightened, but she said nothing then. Later that evening, Maria was quietly stitching her shoe at the corner of the small pantry she used as a room. Mrs. Hamilton slowly approached. "Your shoes," she smiled softly. "They've walked you through life, haven't they?" Maria nodded, holding back tears. Mrs. Hamilton patted her shoulder, whispering, "One day, they will walk you to a better life." A week later, everything fell apart. Mrs. Hamilton passed away in her sleep. The house turned from warm to cold. Overnight, Clara, now calling herself the new lady of the house, smirked as she tossed Maria's apron on the floor. "Pack your things. We're done with charity." Maria stood frozen. She had nowhere to go. "I'll wait until the funeral," she whispered. "I owe her that." The day of the will reading arrived. The mansion's lawyer arrived with a thick envelope. Clara, her fiancé Ethan, and several relatives sat proudly in the living room, ready to hear who would inherit the mansion and the fortune. Maria stood at the very back, hands folded, eyes red. Clara glared at her. "Why is the maid still here?" The lawyer looked at Clara sharply. Mrs. Hamilton wanted her present for this. Clara scoffed but said nothing. The lawyer began reading. "To my granddaughter Clara, I leave the jewelry collection." Clara smiled widely, but not the house. Her smile faded instantly. Murmurs filled the room. Ethan looked shocked. "To Maria," the lawyer continued, "the woman who gave me dignity, kindness, and companionship in my final years. I leave my home, my estate funds, and full rights to everything I own." Time stopped. Clara stood up, furious. "That's a lie. She's just a maid." The lawyer placed a photo on the table. Mrs. Hamilton smiling, holding Maria's hand. They looked like family. The lawyer continued, "Mrs. Hamilton asked me to add something specific about Maria's shoes." Everyone turned to look at Maria's worn footwear. The lawyer read the next line. "Those shoes walked beside me when my own family didn't. When I was sick, lonely, forgotten, she was the one who stayed. So those shoes deserve to walk on marble floors as the owner, not the servant." Clara's face turned pale. Ethan looked away, embarrassed. Maria covered her mouth, tears running down. She couldn't believe it. Clara shouted. "Again, impossible. She's nobody." The lawyer's voice turned stern. "Mrs. Hamilton considered her a daughter, and that is final." Clara lunged at Maria, but Ethan held her back, ashamed by her behavior. Maria stepped forward slowly, her squeaky shoes echoing around the grand room, every step announcing her new place in life. She turned to Clara, voice gentle but firm. "I never wished for this. I just wanted to serve with dignity." Clara spit out. "Give me my house back." Maria shook her head softly. "It was never your kindness that built this home. It was hers." For a second, the room was silent. The staff, who once pitied Maria, now looked at her with respect. The lawyer handed her the keys, the same keys she had once used to open the mansion as a maid, and whispered, "Now, you open it as its owner." That night, Maria walked through the mansion alone. The moonlight reflected on the marble floor. Her shoes squeaked with every step. But now, those very sounds felt like victory. She sat in the grand chair where Mrs. Hamilton once sat. "I hope I make you proud," she whispered. Maria didn't replace her shoes immediately. She kept them as a reminder. Every scar, every stitch, every squeak was a story. And now, they would walk her into a future Mrs. Hamilton always believed she deserved. Because sometimes, the world mocks what it doesn't understand, until kindness writes the final will.